Weather Kingdom. In this update, I know it's very early in the morning, but we are going to be taking a look at soon to be subtropical or tropical depression Dexter. It is off the Atlantic coast. Not surprising. I've talked about it in my last one. It's been a few days, but we have talked about a potential system off the East Coast, and clearly it is getting its act together as we got some very good banding coming from the southern side here. Let me quickly get that. So we have very good um, banding coming into this storm right now. Very one-sided, but this should try and change and get its act together as models all show a 60 to even a 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm. This will it's wrapping itself around. Still a little sheared in the center, but still has that like mini shrimp look. Still very organized and very warm waters off the Atlantic coast. How do we know that is when we look here and compare to the satellite. This is just off here, alright? So the waters, so it's just off here. We have a little big, alright, my bad. The waters where this thing is at right here, and it's going to be zooming through some pretty good and favorable waters for the next couple days. This will help to strengthen the storm at least into a 50-mile-an-hour tropical storm, I do expect. But I do think that will be taking the Dexter name, subtropical or tropical. It has the favorability to do it. Okay. Now let's take a look at satellite here on Dexter. And the satellite imagery looks pretty good here. We also have some wind shear that we have in this storm, but it is getting its act together. There it is, right there. Still a part of the front, but trying to get detached, and we're just going to have to wait and see on how that takes place. Speaking on that, yes, the National Hurricane Center is pretty busy. As we have entered August 3rd, we are starting to get busier in the Atlantic, and I do think this will be the trend, and I do think they're actually going to have, this is one storm that we are going to be talking about, but there is now signs of another coastal low that could be developing here. And actually, instead of going out, it could make a landfall in the Carolinas, once again in Georgia. But there's even some signs that it can make landfall in Maryland, New York, and New Jersey. That's going to be very interesting. And what's really, really interesting is if it does make like a landfall in New Jersey, you might not think the waters are actually capable of doing it, but we got 26 degrees Celsius all the way up to New Jersey's beach here. That means a tropical storm that develops here that does something like this can actually stay as a performed tropical storm and make a landfall in New Jersey as a tropical storm. Very interesting. The waters have continued to rise, and we've seen a massive increase with waters in the last couple weeks. So now I want to start taking a look at some model data and just take a look at everything, as there is a lot of interesting stuff going on in the Atlantic, especially close to home. There it is, you guys. Our lovely tropical, subtropical depression, soon to be Dexter, and the name does say it will get a name and it will survive, but the name has it actually retrograding kind of backwards a bit and strengthening. That's something we're gonna have to watch, but the name does have this to develop, and I think that's very wise. This is the new icon. Very interested on this. So icon just strengthens this, shoots it away, and then we get that little second, but there's that next system now on the icon too, and it does develop and heads for the coast and get stronger. That's going to be another thing as we go into August 8th. That could be our next name storm. So we could be dealing with Dexter, We could be dealing with our E-name storm, and we can just keep going through the list, and especially homegrown. Looks like the homegrown stuff is going to pick up again when a lot of our activity this season has been homegrown. This is the 0Z, and it actually has it strengthening and going up the East Coast here and then going out to sea. All right, very interesting stuff that we are seeing on the model data. Okay, we take a look at the European and see if it's showing any of that stuff, but here it is. Euro shows that Dexter, soon to be Dexter, move off the coast, and then we kind of see some activity try and flare up, but it kind of just makes a landfall around August 8th as nothing too much, but the signal is there. And then we continue, and yeah, just some interesting stuff. European aphis, why not? I like to look at the homegrown. There it is. That logo's on. And then we see another area of a low. Nothing too strong there. And then, oh, oops. Did not mean to do that. So that's the European aphis. We look at the GFS. I like to look at all models. We take a look at 0Z. There's been now a few runs where the GFS has picked up and the ensembles, and I'm very interested because GFS shows Dexter to move on, strengthen, and then weaken as you get into colder waters. But look at that. 0Z shows a tropical storm making landfall in North Carolina and a slow mover. That will be our next name storm. That'll be around August 8th to August 9th. So regardless of Dexter developing on this one, we got another one that's going to be closer to home and could impact inland areas. The Canadian model, we have soon to be Dexter moves off. If it does get a name, it's still a chance that it doesn't. But after that, we see another area of low pressure, nothing too strong up, but a signal on all models, and that's very important to me. I look at that as, okay, we have a signal on all the models. Maybe not strong, but it's there. This is the RGEM. Let's take a look for fun. And we kind of see Dexter to move on. If it does develop, I do think it will. And it doesn't go out that far, but you can tell there's a wave out there. Now I want to take a quick look at the weather models. I'm going to take close at home. I'm not even going to worry about the MDR just yet. I'm kind of more focused on the homegrown stuff because it's closer to home. Okay, for now, let's just take a look at some of the other stuff that we need to take a look at. So we take a look at the GFS, and I want to take a look at the favorability across the coastal areas. Oh, there it is. The new GFS already has it. This one has a little bit more north, but that's 6Z showing it too. That's coming in as we speak. But let's take a look at the conditions for that second storm after Dexter. And the favorability on moisture-wise is pretty good. We have a good plume of moisture right here. We do have a little bit of dry air, but nothing big, especially if this can tap into the warm waters. This would thrive very well with the waters, not too much dry air. And if we take a look at the wind shear, because I'm very interested. Oh, the shear is not bad at all. This is at least the wind shear. I'm going to have to look at the upper levels, but there it is. Actually, clean cyclone flow. I mean, after Dexter, because it's still in that area, but that actually, yeah, that's very good conditions. There could be some shear on the southern side that limits it, but nothing too bad, actually. It's probably because how fast it could be going or something, but yeah, even on 200 millibar winds, especially as you get closer to the coast, look at that. There's not hardly any wind shear on this. Very impressive. This is your model for you. Not really showing anything. Kind of just favorability right there. And if it slows down, it has some chance to gain some momentum and strength, definitely. That's very possible. Alright, let's see if we're going to get this to work. Yes, we got it to work. So, there it is. This is in the next 72 hours. So, the potential Dexter signal will be over here. Okay? That looks like to try and develop and strengthen. But now we are starting to see in the next 72 hours out another wave behind it. Instead of this one following its same tracks, it's going to do something different. We also have an area of low pressures in the main development region that the National Hurricane Center has highlighted. So we have 3 areas just in the next 3 days. All right. We take a look at the next 4 days, and very interesting. Our signal grows in the MDR. This is Dexter here moving on. This is our same wave, kind of just staying home around with the other system. Nothing too much. This is in the next 5 days. And yeah, a lot of difference now on the European 0Z. We have a strong signal now growing of a tropical wave behind this soon-to-be Dexter. It could or it could not. We'll have to wait and see. I do think, pretty confident that it will. But this will be the leftover Dexter. Yeah, this is easy. Possibly going to be Dexter. And then we have a very strong signal right here. So, 3 signals, 3 potential names before the 10th. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Definitely by the midway. We go into 6 days out, and boom, we have a lot going on. We have a lot in the MDR. The signal grows. We got Dexter over here, soon to be Dexter. And then we got a very wide amount of a tropical wave here, but you can tell some into New Jersey and some keeps it very strong into there. That's something we're going to have to watch. Now let's take a look at the next. Let's just look at 168 hours. I forget the point after that. And if we just take a look at the 240, boom. We see a lot of strong tracks, even into the northeast and stuff. With that wave, we got another wave coming off the African coast. We got another wave. We have a very wide variety, but this is a much more active tropical look as we go into the August the 8th. Alright. Let's take a look at the GEFS, for example. This is 336. And now it's stuck. Okay, so let's keep taking a look at some other stuff. So let's take a look at the main development region. Let's go into full Atlantic view. And very interesting, okay? The European APHIS, European has been popping. I mean, 0Z after 12Z after 0Z. It's been popping storms. So there is that could be Dexter. There's that other tropical wave that could be going into the Carolinas. There's that next tropical wave. And that does look to try and develop, strengthen, And it's a chance that the European right now has this to go out to sea, but could become our first hurricane. And then two more very strong tropical waves right here and right here. Our this one does try and develop as we get into the Western Antilles. This is our E-name storm. There's that next tropical wave. This is our one right here. A very strong one coming off. And yeah, you get some development out of this one. Tries to develop here, and a very strong tropical wave there. So what this tells me is the Atlantic is continuing to favorize. Because as we get into the next 360 hours out, that dry air really becomes less. And even comparing this to this second right now, yeah, a lot of dry air, but look at what happens here. I mean, we really see these tropical waves to come off and help to push that dry air away. So that's going to really be durable for the Atlantic and help the Atlantic. The APHIS model, there it is. We see 3 waves right off with the European that shows. And wow, we see Dexter. We see that next tropical wave. We see this one that the European shows and kind of goes out to sea, strengthens. We see that other tropical wave to try and develop, and that will go north of Puerto Rico and become a tropical storm there. Look at that. Another main development region. Okay, so one, we had Dexter, we had another one, we got this wave, and then this wave. This is all before mid-August, by the way. So we could definitely start ranking up these names in August and easily catch up to some other seasons in the past. Alright, bottom line. "336 hours out, you could tell we had some tropical waves here. There's Dexter. We got this tropical wave and then this tropical wave. So the ensembles are picking it up and the main models are picking up too. Why is that? Look at that. MJO is entering phase 8 right now. It will be going into 1. And then especially as the main development region strengthens, that 6, 7, 8, boom. We are in phases 2. And there is phases 3 too. Kind of lingers. Very interesting stuff on the MJO. Once again, waters off the Atlantic coast extremely well warmed, 31 degrees Celsius. Goes into the Gulf, and yep, we are seeing 32, 33 degrees Celsius along the coastal region. So very important there. Alright. Very favorable period of tropical weather that we are going to have to watch out of. I'm pretty confident on that. We take a look at the quick GFS on it, and yeah, you can tell that tropical wave does start to develop here on this. Let's see if I can get a... Okay, so this goes out 114, and yeah, there it is. On August 7th, we have... oh, wow, this one does too. Strengthen this one, alright. So let's take a look at the vorticities here. So there's Dexter. There's that wave out in the Atlantic, and there's the wave that goes into the Carolinas. 3 waves right there. Boom. In the next 4 days. So very soon, we could be dealing with another named storm after Dexter. I do think in the next couple days, Dexter will be named. Pretty positive on that, but we'll have to wait and see. But thank you guys for watching. Please like.